Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ryan Helbach. I'm here today to talk about the Air Force Pitch Day with you all. Definitely happy to have you guys joining us for today. We're doing what's called an Ask Me Anything. So the whole goal of this next hour or just over an hour is to basically take your questions and try and provide you some answers before we start accepting proposals for the Air Force Pitch Day. So first, kind of a general overview of what we're trying to do with the Air Force Pitch Day, and then I'll talk a little bit about what we're trying to do today here with Ask Me Anything. So the Air Force Pitch Day is something new that the Air Force is doing, recognizing that we're operating in a changing landscape. We recognize that a lot of times the government can be very bureaucratic and slow, and we're trying to address and identify ways that we can work much faster with startups and small businesses in general. We recognize that technology is accelerating at a very rapid pace, that is becoming much more globalized, and that if we as the Air Force, we as the government aren't able to respond fast enough and to bring in new technologies, that will cause issues down the road for us. So what we're trying to do here with the Air Force Pitch Day is basically trying to disrupt in some ways ourselves. We're looking to, in essence, take proposals from startups and small businesses, do rapid evaluations of those proposals, and then invite a subset of proposees to come actually make pitches in person. It'll be a 5-minute pitch by the small business, and then a 5-minute Q&A from the government side of folks, and then 5 minutes of feedback from the government. So we want to be able to very rapidly hear what you have, hear the advantage that you're bringing to the table, hear about the technologies that you're developing, but then as well be able to give you that very rapid feedback. And then in addition to that, we'll be, for those companies that are selected for an award for a contract, we'll actually be signing that contract the same day. We'll be using a 1-page contract. And then we'll sign that contract, and we'll make we'll have the initial deliverable, which will be your presentation that same day, and we'll give you your initial payment. So the goal here is for the Air Force to very rapidly be able to receive a lot of great ideas from you all, and then to be able to very rapidly give you feedback and get you on contract and get you working with the government. So we're very excited about this. The proposal period, we'll be accepting proposals starting tomorrow, January 8th, and that'll be running through February 6th. We'll be doing very rapid evaluations, and we'll make the down selection by February 15th. And then we'll have the actual event itself will be March 6th and 7th, and it'll be taking place in New York City. We've down selected to 2 locations, and we'll be posting those locations up to the Air Force Pitch Day website. So we'll be posting a link to that website shortly, but as well, definitely encourage you to go out and Google Air Force Pitch Day. And so that Air Force Pitch Day website basically has a whole bunch of information about how to apply, what areas that we're looking for, but then as well also includes information from the past Ask Me Anything sessions that we've done, and we'll be posting this Ask Me Anything session as well. So with that in mind, as you ask your questions today, recognize that we are recording this and that we will be posting it up to the internet. So keep that in mind. We're excited to hear your proposals and your ideas and your technologies, but really try as much as possible save that for the actual proposal itself. So please, nothing proprietary here today, and as well, try and limit how much you're trying to sell your company and technology as you ask your questions today. So the format that we're going to be running for today is we have 3 different technology verticals that we're looking at. The first is digital technologies. The second is battlefield air operations technologies, and then the last one is command, control, communication, intelligence, and network technologies. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend about 20 minutes going through each of those topics. And so what we're going to ask folks to do is via the chat window is to enter for your question. Basically start with which of the 3 areas that you're asking the questions towards. So either start your question with digital. What type of digital technologies are you looking at? So that would be a very good example. Or if you're looking at the battlefield air operations, just you can do BA, and that'll help us. So what we'll do, I'm going to introduce the folks, the technical folks, POCs here in a minute, and we're basically going to open it up to ask those questions. So for the folks that are calling in, that are on the phone, we'll basically unmute folks right at the end of that 20-minute session for you all to ask questions via the phone, since you won't have access to the chat. So as the questions come in, we will ask the question so that everybody can hear it, and then we'll respond to that question. So the first group of folks I want to introduce is Dave Setzer. So he's representing the digital technologies vertical, and we're going to have him talk here in a minute. After he talks, we're then going to have Captain Broadbent from the Battlefield Airmen Systems Technologies talk. And then lastly, from the Command, Control, Communications, Intelligence, and Networking, we're going to have Jim Broadwell and a few other folks that are joining him there. So we'll get started here. We'll start with the digital technologies. So what I ask now is that you send your questions, basically submit your questions to everyone, and include digital at that start of that question. So start asking your questions for the digital, and I'll give an opportunity for Dave to kind of introduce himself, and then as well to talk a little bit about what he envisions with his specific area. So Dave, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Good morning or good afternoon to everyone, wherever you are. This is Dave Setzer. I'm the technical director for PEO Digital, which is the Air Force Program Executive Office, Mr. Steve Wirt, or officer for command and control systems, surveillance, basically large-scale surveillance systems, radars. We just recently changed our name to digital to capture a focus on rapid software development and implementing better cyber development strategies. And I think that's what you'll see if you look in our particular topic, which is 191-011. The things that we have listed there are the things that we think are important and we'd like to see some innovation on with regard to moving operations into cloud environments, whether it's a large-scale public cloud or on-prem or private cloud. Maintaining our trust and maintaining resiliency in open source software, which is not new to us, or not unusual to us, but certainly to a larger community as well. We have interest in resilient position navigation and timing, and in this case, we're really focused on command and control and network ops. So we're not. There are a lot of folks worried about resilient PNT for other things, but we are concerned about technologies that keep our timing secure and accurate. Along with other things we're doing, or interests we have in the cloud, we're also interested in automated software and cyber testing as we move to a DevOps environment and then start migrating some operations to the cloud. And along with that, for software that may need to be modified or perhaps re-engineered or rehosted, efficient tools to let us do that. And cybersecurity compliance and process is no big mystery. We all have requirements for that, but delivering software in a more agile, rapid fashion is demanding that we do that testing, that cybersecurity compliance and process testing in a much faster way. So I think if you read the topic, you'll get that. There are some other things that are of more detail that you'll see that we have listed under specific challenges. I'm not going to address those because in some cases they're kind of subtopics to the first 6. So that's me. That's what our interests are, and I would welcome your questions. So Ryan, back to you for moderating.
All right, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. And so, kind of just a general overview of the topic itself. So the intent of it, as you read the language, and my partner here, Jack Monroe, has just posted a link to that topic itself. So as you read through that topic, recognize that we have some very specific things that we were calling out within that, but we also recognize that there's the unknown unknowns, right? So if you have a technology or idea that kind of fits within that digital space, that you think, hey, this may actually have a specific tie to the overarching challenges that Dave just just talked about. Again, we're looking for those types of proposals as well, in addition to the very specific things that Dave called out. So we recognize that, you know, sometimes you may have a solution that we haven't thought of, or addressing a problem that we don't specifically call out within that vertical. So I'm going to ask, let's see. All right. So first question is, with regard to potential U.S. Air Force stakeholder mentioned in the solicitation, is it expected for us to identify a specific named individual, or is it rather meant to refer to a role or description?
Well, I think it's the latter. Really, we're and I'm going to have to search through the words here, but typically when we talk about an Air Force stakeholder, we're referring to an organization or a program office that might be an eventual target for you know, essentially the phase one that would be funded under this effort. So stakeholder is usually an organizational term in this context.
All right, the next question is, we have a software system identified as a weapon system that provides cybersecurity for enterprise-wide telephone systems. Are you interested in developments that will improve this capability?
I'm going to defer that question to C3INN. That's more of a C3INN topic. Digital, although in a way, digital is kind of a bit broader than we really are. Base level comms and networks really fall under C3INN and not digital.
All right. So as we get the next digital question going, do want to address a couple other questions, just the broader questions about the Ask Me Anything. So we did one Ask Me Anything in December. We did one this past Friday, and we're doing one here today. We're going to have all of those posted to the Air Force Pitch Day website, so definitely encourage you to check them out there. As well, there was a question about the formatting and style for the 5-page technical and 15-page slide deck. So there's information that is captured under the Air Force instructions, and we're going to post where those instructions are located here in the chat window. But again, you can go out to the DoD SBIR website, and there's specific Air Force instructions, and it talks about what we're looking for within those proposal formats. Just a general question as well, if a proposal is missing information, will we be notified, or will the proposal be rejected? Does the proposal have to be, I'm assuming, a certain amount? So the maximum amount of dollar that we would accept for the proposals is $158,000. Anything above that, we would not be able to award that. If there's missing information, you will not be notified. We're trying to move very, very rapidly. So really encourage you to review the previous Ask Me Anythings, and as well to go out to the Air Force Pitch Day website, and as well the the DoD SBIR website to review those instructions that'll tell you what types of information you'll need in the proposals. The big thing when we look at proposals, we're looking at it from 3 perspectives. So the first thing that we look at is it technically relevant? Are you matching to the technology vertical that we're asking for? We don't want your ideas for ice cream food trucks, as much as that would be enlivening. We're not looking for that type of information. So first is technical, second is team. What's the composition of your team? Do you have both the technical side of things, but then as well the ability to get the technology out into the either the commercial world or into the DoD world? And then the last aspect that we look at it from is what we call commercialization, but how able are we to take this technology and actually get it into the hands of our warfighters? So that's how we review these. And again, if you go out to the DoD SBIR website, they have a pretty good description with regards to those. So next question, Dave, for the digital. who is the prime potential Air Force end users for resilient PNT for C2 and network ops?
Okay, well, thanks for the question. As we envision it, any organization that relies on a GNSS-based network timing solution would be a candidate for what we're looking for. So, organizations that require timing for network synchronization or other things would be candidates for a concept that's brought forward in this process.
Very good. Thank you, Dave. So the next question is, again, an overarching question. It's about the formatting for the 5 pages. So that is a 5-page document. We actually end up viewing them via a PDF when it gets submitted to us within the government. So it's just 5 straight pages as you would see it in Word or Google Docs. And then the 5-minute pitch, that's supposed to cover technology team and commercialization. Again, we're actually going to be doing some training. We're going to provide some information to those companies that are down selected to come out to New York City. So we're looking at about 20 companies from each of the 3 verticals. So we'll be providing you some kind of structure to help you with that 5-minute pitch. We recognize that it's a very rapid pitch. So you're really going to have to hit your high notes of what's your advantage, what's your solution, why should the Air Force care? And again, you'll be hitting with aspects of that technology team and commercialization in that 5 minutes. So it'll be very rapid. Are the proposed topics limited to the Air Force, or can other services be included? Dave, I'll let you answer this question.
Well, I guess this goes back to what Ryan said earlier. We, in some areas, we don't know what we don't know, and even for proposals that are not ultimately selected, there may be a match there that even we're not aware of. So I'm not sure what the question means about limited to the Air Force, but if you are talking with another service and think there's something of interest here, I think we'd certainly like to see you apply. But I'll defer to Ryan for the rest of that one.
So again, I mean, recognize you're going to be reviewing, you're going to be pitching to Air Force customers. They're going to look at it from that Air Force lens. So recognize if your solution really only applies to the Army or the Navy or even outside of the DoD, recognize that your audience will be Air Force individuals. Now, if it is a solution that could address Navy or Army challenges, but as well addresses Air Force challenges, then I know definitely we'd be happy to hear that pitch. The Air Force is obviously working quite a bit with other services, and so we're happy to hear those things. Dave, the next question for you is, for Agile development area, is there interest in technology that will link technical implementation with the operational level knowledge? With Agile, there are faster spirals, but having a more broad view be of interest, especially for a software factory type situation?
I think it's certainly something we would be interested in. We have tool sets and processes that we're using for Agile DevOps, but once again, some areas we don't know what we don't know. It's not a clean fit to any of our topics, but I would encourage you to put it in anyway. And who knows? The folks who are going to be evaluating, at least my engineering folks, are dipped in Agile DevOps processes, and I think it would be a good opportunity for them to look at it and see if there's a connection.
All right, very good. And so now a general question for those selected for the pitch: will the proposal information be provided to the audience prior to the pitch? So what we're going to do is we're going to provide a proposal package to the folks that are hearing that pitch. The folks that are hearing that pitch will be composed of some of the folks that did that initial evaluation, as well as some of the senior Air Force individuals from that specific technology vertical. So they will be provided that information about each company. And so for the actual pitch itself, that will occur for the small businesses on March 6th. and it'll be what we call a competition sensitive event where it will just be the small business, you all, with just the government in the room. And so then the intent of that is that basically you can provide that information in a closed environment. On March 7th will actually be a larger event. We'll be bringing in senior Air Force as well as industry partners and local investment community to hear pitches from folks that were invited to the March 6th day, but then as well to kind of highlight this very rapid contracting and awards that we're trying to do here. So that'll be another opportunity for folks to pitch and provide their ideas to a much larger audience than just the few folks that will be in the room for the pitches. All right, next is a general question. Is there a template or guidance, specific guidance? Again, I'll refer you back to those instructions, encourage you to review those. We did read through those. It provides a pretty good guideline of what we're looking for in that 5-page narrative and 15-page presentation. Dave, a question for you. If our technology fits in more than one area of digital, do we pick one area or do a broader proposal with 2 or 3 applications of the technology?
Certainly, those areas are not exclusive of one another, and I think if you have a technology or something you're proposing that's going to fit in more than one area, I think it's fine to state that. It doesn't have to be a clean fit in just one area. So I would say a broader proposal would work.
All right, very good. Next question is, if a solution has a potential applicability to multiple topics, can multiple proposals be submitted, i.e. one to each topic? Yes, we will receive multiple proposals. We can receive multiple proposals. Recognize that it's a lot of work to put these proposals in. It does take a lot of time from a small business perspective. And so definitely encourage you. I'd much rather have you put in a proposal, a solid, good proposal for just one of the topics, rather than trying to do a shotgun approach. And we've seen this in the past with other kind of innovative special topics that we've done. And you can clearly tell the companies that are trying to put in 10 different proposals versus the ones that just put in one solid good one. The next one is a question about, do you have to be physically present for the pitch day? So as a company, you will need to be physically present at the pitch day on March 6th and 7th. So again, we're going to notify companies on February 15th as whether or not they're selected for attending the event. The question is, will companies be allowed to update their proposal pitch decks after completing the training prior to pitch day? And so what we're actually going to encourage you to do is take from your proposal, take just probably just 2 or 3 slides from your proposal itself and use that for the pitch itself. And we'll be working with you in between that February 15th and March 6th date. Okay, next question is, again, a very broad question. Are there TRL targets for the projects? So one of the things that definitely recommend for you all as you look at applying, we are looking at ideas and technologies that are a little later stage. So we're trying to move very rapidly. So this initial phase 1, which is a feasibility study, will be 5 months, and then we'll likely go into a 15-month prototyping development. So we are looking for technologies that are more advanced. So think applied research or advanced development, and less so of basic research benchtop type work. Dave, I think a question for you: would solutions that deliver cloud migration through automation in an area be an area of interest?
I certainly think they could be. We'd be focused within the areas. For example, our first topic is secure, resilient operations in the cloud, but what that really means, it can be fairly broadly interpreted. So once again, it might be one of those knock-on effects, something that we didn't anticipate getting a proposal on, but certainly I would encourage you to submit it.
Next question is, on the 6th, will we know exactly who is in the room and their backgrounds beforehand? So I actually do not have a good answer for you yet. I will tell you that it'll be folks that are representing that technology vertical. So i.e. The program PEO, digital. It'll be folks from there representing the Air Force to hear those pitches on March 6th, but can't give you a definitive of who exactly will be in the room. Next question for you, Dave. Who are the end stakeholders in the cyber compliance and process areas of interest?
Just in the interest of time, I'm not going to name everybody, but certainly every division within our PEO that has responsibility to field software and perform cyber compliance process and testing would be a potential end stakeholder. So I'm not going to go into any more detail than that, but I'll just say there are multiple.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to take two more questions from the chat, and I'm going to open it up to the folks that are on the phone as well to ask questions, and then we'll move on to the other technical verticals. So last two questions from the chat. Are hardware-based solutions of interest or only software? Hardware-based solutions that can provide better resiliency and security?
I'd say we're interested in both. Certainly, hardware-based solutions have a slower refresh cycle, and considering the speed at which we want to go, software has advantages, but we're not drawing a distinction between the two in terms of requests for proposals.
All right, very good. And then last question for you from the chat is digital the right silo for test training and mission simulation ideas?
Probably not, and I'm not exactly sure who would be, unfortunately. But specifically for test training, there are other organizations that do that. We have very little to none of that within digital.
I can recommend there's a number of other broader SBIR topics that will be available starting tomorrow through February 6th. There may be some specific topics that might fit with regards to that question. I do know there is the Air Force Education Training Center has a special topic. I believe it's topic number 4 from the Air Force. So I encourage you to check that out for that question. So at this time, I'm going to open it up to anybody that's on the phone that wants to ask a question. Go ahead. So next up, we have Captain Broadbent who's going to be talking about the Battlefield Air Operations family of systems technologies. So Captain Broadbent, would you mind just giving a quick introduction of yourself and your organization?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I'm just going to go for starters, if I refer to us as special warfare, we just had a name change, so be aware of that as well. So we changed from Battlefield Airmen to Special Warfare Branch, and that was a name change across the Air Force Special Operations community there. So what at the Battlefield Airmen Branch, we equip the Battlefield Airmen of the Air Force, which include everything from STOWs, CROWs, TACPs, JTACs, PJs, CCT, as well as we do some with our SEER partners as well. So the requirements that fall within that. And so a part of what we put out for the pitch day topics was essentially a broad overview of that. So anything that falls within the Battlefield Airmen or Special Warfare Now topics, anything that would relate to them and special operations in regards to that is something that we're looking for. So that's kind of something up front. I know that's a big, broad swath of things. We are looking for different sorts of things. So we did focus on 4 main things. I believe we'll be removing one of those topics, but the main 3 that we're looking at are a macro weather sensor. So, and essentially what that would be is the weather sensor that would be rated for airfield, an airfield rating. Then also we're looking at anything that do an Android application or an ATAC plugin that apply to Air Force Special Operations, particularly special warfare. So something that we could look at software-wise to transition to our users. And then also we're looking for any sort of SUAS drone. So a first-person manual drone is really what we're looking at. Something that would be for individual operators. And those are the three main topics that we're looking at, but we're also really just looking for anything that falls within something, for example, power and data management. So anything that makes our batteries lighter, anything that reduces weight to what we already have. And we also have a full cabling solution that connects to an Android solution that we have as well, that connects to our radios, connects to some of our other, like laser target designator, etc. So anything that would be involved in the power and data management side of that would be something we're interested in as well.
All right, very good. Definitely appreciate that. So we've got a couple questions for you. I'll just read them off for you, and you can respond. So the first question is, if awarded a contract to develop an ATAC as part of the ATAC, would the Air Force provide us with an ATAC developer toolkit?
Yeah, we would be the focal point for that, and we've done that quite a bit in the past.
Very good. Are you interested in proposals for new augmented reality display systems that interface with ATAC or just ATAC apps?
I think that would fall under the overall baseline of anything that relates to battlefield airman ground operations.
All right, very good. So next question is, are you looking for asset tracking solutions, i.e. vehicles, equipment, people, et cetera?
Like, is that a combination with one of the other?
Yeah, that one's kind of a vague question. I don't really know how to, I mean, the answer would be yes, but I would need more information to answer that question.
Yeah, as to what they're actually looking for. Okay, let me ask some previous questions that were asked. This is from a company. We're developing a unique aircraft, all electric with significant payload and airtime. Our plan is to partner with a back-end company that fits the Air Force needs. Do we fit in within your categories?
Unique aircraft or UAS?
I'm assuming the unique aircraft.
If it's an aircraft, no.
Yeah.
If it is an unmanned aerial system, then yes.
Yep. Okay, so you're looking specifically for that UAS capability. All right, the next question is, can you post the Battlefield Air Operations family of systems, table 5-33? And what we can do is actually, if you provide, I think if you provide Jack and I that link, we'll get it up onto the Air Force Pitch Day website so that folks have access to that.
Yeah, I'm looking into that piece actually.
It was basically a question of, is there room for you guys to receive proposals that are not specifically listed within the topic area? So, i.e., kind of the unknown unknowns within the special forces kind of arena that aren't directly called out.
Oh yeah, topic. Absolutely. If it applies to special operations, then yes, but not on the air side. If it applies to special operations for ground operators, then yeah, we're looking for it.
All right, very good. Next question is a broad question. Is there any interest in laser weapons that support the megawatt in space by 2030 goals? So for the Air Force Pitch Day, we're looking for kind of the three direct technology verticals. I don't believe that fits within the verticals that we're talking about here. We're going to be planning future Air Force Pitch Days, and so we will probably, I know we will broaden it and likely will include space in the next go. But definitely encourage you to look at other SBIRs. I think the Air Force has over 100 topics, and I think the DoD at large has probably about 300 topics that will be coming out opening tomorrow. So I encourage you to check that out. Next question, are you interested in a 3 kilowatt multi-fuel generator that weighs less than 200 pounds?
No, I don't think that we would. We're not currently looking at anything like that.
Okay, very good. Next question is, what about medical devices to be used in battlefield operations?
Yes.
All right, very good. With respect to the ATAC, any interest in RF SA tools? I'm assuming radio frequency situational awareness tools.
Yes.
All right, good. With regard to ATAC and FPV drone, could that relate to ATAC and not a first-person view drone?
Yes, if it interacts with ATAC, it is. Yep.
All right. Next question for you. Are you looking for tactical weather that can be used downrange or just at the airfield?
Both, yes. But this one is focused on tactical airfield weather. So a little bit broader, if that makes a little bit narrow, more narrow.
Yeah, not conventional like airfield.
Yeah, not the conventional.
All right. All right, give me 1 second here. Next one is with regards to the hands-free water production. What production rates and quantities are you looking for?
And we will be today removing that one from what we're looking for.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So next question is this an appropriate topic area for the use of additive manufacturing technologies that would be common across multiple Air Force platforms?
That's kind of too broad of a, I don't
question. Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, it's a pretty broad question.
So I will encourage the folks that are looking at the additive manufacturing side of things. We do have a special topic that we have out, and I believe it's topic 4, but it is looking at that, we call it 3D printing in the topic call, but that additive manufacturing that may have implications across the Air Force. So definitely encourage you to look at that topic if it doesn't fit within kind of what we're looking for here. So a clarification on this is from the previous question, clarification on the asset tracking solutions. Would you be interested in a mobile secondary tracking solution in the event a GPS signal or line of sight was not available or lost?
Can we ask like more questions?
Yes, that would be something we would definitely look at a proposal like that. This would be yes, it would be applicable. Obviously, we would need more information.
Yep, very good. Okay, yeah, and definitely for companies, you know, it sounds like this is probably within the topic. I encourage you to get that proposal in, and that way we can really review kind of all the information that you have. Can you share any specific small UAS performance improvements or capabilities you need to field?
That's going to under me looking into exactly what I can and cannot put out there, but I can, and I'm looking into that piece to get more specifics on what we're boiling it down to.
Right.
All right, very good. Next question for you is there interest in a tethered UAS that captures wind energy to generate electricity and doubles as a persistent ISR platform?
As the overall, from me speaking, the overall I saw, I believe sensors is a part, correct? I don't know if that falls on topics.
So definitely for that one, encourage you to read through kind of the topic language that we have, but then as well, we do have, there's another special topic, it's a open innovation topic for technologies that are already proven in a non-defense market. If this is something where you have a commercial customer already out there, I encourage you to look out at Air Force topic number 5 under the SBIR solicitation. That may be, this sounds like it may be a good fit under that. Next question for you guys. Do you have an interest in human physiology optimization in extreme environments through food and supplements?
Yes.
All right. Looks like the last question here on the chat, and then we'll open it up to the folks that have that are on the phone as well. Would you be interested in a low cost, low support cost solution for Excel for getting rid of Excel spreadsheet as a makeshift database. So basically providing kind of a alternative database solution from what we largely use.
Yeah, could you read that one again? I missed the first part of it.
Yeah. Yep. So would you be interested in a low-cost, low support cost solution to using Excel spreadsheet as a makeshift database?
I don't think so from our perspective.
Yeah. Okay. All right. One last question for you, and then we'll open up to the phones. With respect to special ops ground troops, are you looking for quantum hardened encryption and obfuscation, i.e. non-reverse engineerable circuitry and computing?
Non-reversible. Say that last part again.
So basically something that couldn't be hacked, couldn't be broken into.
But those, remember, everything has to be ruggedized and then body worn parts from our perspective.
Yep. Yeah. So you guys can't carry a whole room-sized computer with you.
Yeah, exactly. So there's already fight for space on the operator. So.
Yeah, yep. The next question is about hypersonic propulsion. So that's actually outside of the technology verticals that we're looking for with Air Force Pitch Day. I encourage you to look out. I know for sure the Air Force has got a number of other hypersonic SBIRs that are out there. So I encourage you to look at that one. So at this time, I'm going to open up to anybody that's on the phone if you want to ask your question as well.
I have a question, sir.
Go ahead.
Our product works specifically with two types of radios that are commonly carried by the soldier, PRC 152 and 148. We have a variation of that product that's a distinctly different product that works with a C-cell radio. Would that be a separate offering, or would we pair those under the same offering and then have the different interface control document additive in the technical?
From our perspective, I think that the best way to do that would, in this case, do 3 separate proposals, because from us, it addresses different mission types. So yeah, I would say paired with whatever that radio is. So if it can be used with multiple radios, whatever those multiples are all together, but the C-cell fully separate would be a fully separate design. So if that makes sense.
Absolutely. That's exactly what we wanted to hear. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions from the phone? All right. One last question, and then I'll let you guys kind of give a quick wrap up. So clarification on the generator. You said the generator weighs less than 20 pounds and fits within a rucksack.
Yeah, we would look at a proposal for that then.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I think I misspoke and I said I think 200 pounds. So that was on my fault.
Yeah. I was like, nah, that's one big operator.
Yeah, very big, very big. Okay. I guess at this time we'll stop the questions for the Battlefield folks. Do you have any closing comments?
So just anything that is for special operations or interacts with that. And I think going back to the ATEC stuff as a part of our side of it, we have the template set up for how you would interact in the TAC environment. But we're also looking for Android applications as well that would interact either independently or as a plug-in to the TAC environment.
All right, very good. Definitely appreciate you guys being on the line today. So with that, we'll transition to our last and final technology vertical. So we're going to talk about command control communications, intelligence and networking. We're joined by Jim Broadwell and a few folks that are sitting with him. So Jim, I guess, would you mind giving just a quick introduction of yourself as well, if you want to introduce anybody from your team, and then talk kind of about what you're looking for within your specific technology vertical.
Thank you. So my name is Jim Broadwell. I'm the Deputy Director of Engineering here within the PEO, Command and Control Communications, Intelligence, and Networks. We had put a team together. We have a Captain Austin Bryan, who is supporting our cyber efforts. We have Lieutenant Kieran O'Brien, who is supporting aerial networks. And then we have Lieutenant Stephen Cunningham, who will be supporting our data networking and combined computing environment. So we have selected certain areas to address here. So although our area is quite large, right, we are looking for fighter capability in cyber, terrestrial, and aerial communications and data links. So we narrowed it down to 4 specific areas, right? We're looking for cyber resilient area communication networks and data links. We're looking for efforts in agile communications. And we're also looking for 3D modeling simulation of the aerial network and data capture and analytic employing artificial intelligence and or machine learning techniques. Although our area is a lot bigger than that, we're kind of limited to this. So we won't disregard a good topic coming in, but we are focusing on those 4 areas. And without that, after that, whatever questions you have.
All right, very good. Definitely appreciate that introduction. So have a couple questions that were asked earlier that I wanted to make sure that we capture. So the first question for you all is, we have a software system identified as a weapon system that provides cybersecurity for enterprise-wide telephone systems. Are you interested in developments that would improve this capability?
I think yes, the answer is yes. It's not one of the 4 main areas we've addressed, but we would definitely consider that.
All right, very good. And then the next question is, can you give us a sense of how small UAS, how small of a UAS and ad hoc networks fit within the Air Force's priority for aerial communication networks?
There is definitely an interest in these, small UAS networks, especially ad hoc networks, something similar to ATAC, and something that a small business can definitely bring an innovative idea to the table. So they will definitely be looked at by our team.
All right, excellent. So next question is a general question with regards to the TRL goal. So when we say later stage, can you provide clarification on that? Is the idea for immediate transition at the end of phase 2 versus a prototype which phase 3 would transition into production? So the goal is, especially for phase 1, is to look for potential solutions that are a little more developed. We recognize that a lot of the technologies would require further prototyping, further development, and we are okay with that. It doesn't have to directly transition and get into the warfighter's hands here at the end of the initial 5-month feasibility study. So we recognize that for sure. There'll probably be a few technologies that hopefully are fairly mature and that we could transition fairly rapidly, but we recognize that there will need to be some prototyping and further development. All right, give me 1 second here. We'll get to some next questions. Are you interested in novel data presentation systems, i.e. augmented or virtual reality, haptics, etc.?
Yeah.
All right, definitely. So next one is, by cyber resilient, do you mean encryption, LPI, LPD, anti-jamming, or all of the above for data links?
I'd say definitely encryption, but really compromise how quickly can we get back up and running and continue ops.
Sorry about that. There was some interference there. Would you mind just restating what you said there?
Sure. So I just want to emphasize the encryption part, but it really is all of the above. We don't necessarily want to be limiting in that factor. And just also highlighting the resiliency piece about, how quickly can we bounce back, if we are compromised or something of that nature.
All right. Next question is packet capture forensic areas of interest for cybersecurity?
Yes.
All right. And how about RF jamming protection?
Yes.
All right. Regarding agile communications, could you provide some more details on what exactly you're looking for and what you're calling for here?
So for agile communications, it's kind of tied into what Lieutenant Cunningham was talking about earlier. We are not just limited to the encryption of it, but with agile communications, think of something more like having spectrum diversity and being able to adapt if one band is jammed and you need to change to another. Something like creating a mesh directional network. LPI, LPD is definitely an area of interest as well. And software-defined radios are another area. Basically, what can we do to make sure that we have comms up and running at all times?
All right. So that's all the questions I had in the chat window. If there's anybody else on the phone that would like to ask a question, we can definitely do that. And I'm sure a couple more questions will come in via the chat. So at this time, I'll open it up to anybody on the phone. All right. So one more question that's come in via the chat is with regards to data capture and analytics, would AI or machine learning solutions be within this area of interest? Or I'm sorry, what are the areas of interest?
Okay. So I think Captain Brian might chime in for some more specifics on this one, but from our position, looking at various things like maybe process improvements, something that emphasis on being repeatably executable, performance metrics, logistics, being able to digest structured data to provide various outputs, and then conversely organizing unstructured data into structured data, and I guess some other topics of concern, being like predictive corrections on network and data center components, be adaptive and heal the network before symptoms appear, and then just two other things. Also going to be looking for some proven methods for cleansing data, as well as understanding the various machine learning models, or whatever that problem would require.
Yeah, I was just gonna throw in for the AI stuff. If you consider, things in nature that don't have data links but that function pretty well together, like a school of fish, they're all running an algorithm that allows them to adapt to their environment yet function in a coherent, systematic manner. AI algorithms that could be part of a comprehensive way to operate in the face of limited comms interruptions might be of interest in the AI area.
Captain Brian, do you have anything else to add from your end? I know you had a few topics.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah, everything you guys said is also of interest to our program as well. And then any way to help collect, different types of data sets from a vast amount of sensors that are disparate and then collect it together and make it into some sort of business value at the enterprise level. That's all for me.
All right. So next question is, are you looking for self-destructing storage media or mobile computers?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't know if I captured your response there.
I think we said yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, didn't capture that. Sorry. Next question is: are there swap targets or particular platforms vehicles targeted for this requirement? In particular, is there would server rack solutions for encryption or secure communications be entertained or useful?
I would say smaller is better. There are potentially a couple use cases where they could be considered, but we're definitely looking towards a smaller swap.
Okay. have a couple of general questions here as well. Will the chat window questions and links be made available for the recorded sessions? So we will be posting this recording. The chats themselves, I don't think we're posting those, but definitely encourage you to go out, do just a quick Google search of Air Force Pitch Day. You can get to our website. There's a number of links there, and we'll make sure that the other links that we mentioned here today are posted up onto that website, so you have it all as you start to do your applications. And then last kind of general question here is, does the proposal format simply reduce the 20-page limit to 5 pages, meaning is all the content supposed to be in there that's contained in the DoD instructions, except in 5 pages? So what we've done, this will actually be the third cycle that we've done this format of a 5-page technical proposal plus a 15-page slide deck. And what we've seen in the past from successful companies is a very good combination, capturing kind of what is looked for in traditional SBIRs, but using kind of the two vehicles as a more effective way of providing what all you're looking at doing. So with regard to what content has to be there, so we are looking at similar things, but you're able to convey that, at least in our view, and from some of the businesses that we've talked to in a much more agile mean. Definitely encourage you, especially what we've seen with some of the other special topics that we've done before. One of them we had last cycle, we had almost 280 proposals come in. So definitely, as you put your proposal in, recognize that from a government standpoint, we're going to be reviewing a lot of proposals. And so as you think about how do you convey your information and what information you are conveying, put some thought into that of there will be likely quite a few proposals that are coming in as we do our initial evaluation. Next question is, again, a general question. I have a question about the funding for these efforts with regards to a government credit card. It sounds like a great streamlining idea. So the question is with regards to the government purchase card that we'll be using to make that initial and final payments to companies. So we've actually done this in this previous SBIR cycle with the government purchase card, where we've actually paid companies with that government purchase card. So that is in essence a government credit card that we can then use to put expenses onto up to a certain limit, but that limit is below what we're looking for here. And so with that government credit card, it allows for very rapid payment to small businesses, but with some, depending on what method you accept that payment from, you may incur a fee. And so we recognize that. That's why we bumped the limit up to $158,000 versus the traditional $150,000 for a 9-month effort. So we've shortened the effort. We're giving you a little bit more dollar amount, recognizing that there may be a fee depending on which service you use to receive that payment. And from a government perspective, I can't endorse any of the different services. I do recommend that you do some research on how to receive. It's no different than a traditional credit card. So we've had folks that have used, sorry, it's slipping my mind at the moment, but I know they've also used, so there's a physical reader that you can get, like if you went to a small business, a physical location, they just have a swipe reader that attaches to like an iPad or something like that. So we've seen that before, and then as well, we've also seen folks use QuickBook and be able to process payments via that. So encourage you, yes, again, thank you everyone, Square, the Square reader. So it's very easy. In fact, when we were setting up this initial pitch day, I went out and I got registered for a Square reader. It took me about 5 minutes to do while we were in the meeting discussing this very question. So again, one more general question, and then I'm going to have Jim and his team wrap up, and then I'll finish up with some closing questions. So is there a cap or general limit on the initial contract payment? So what we're going to do is 2 different payments. So the initial payment will be on that first day on March 6th, and then we'll do a final payment at the end. What we've done in the past, and we have not defined exactly how we're going to do it this time, but what we've done in the past is a 40% of your proposed amount up front, and then 60% at the closeout of the contract. I can't confirm yet that that's what we'll do, but that is what we have done in the past. So with that, we'll wrap up the questions here. Jim, I guess from you and your team, any closing comments, and then I'll give a few comments on the overarching Air Force Pitch Day.
I think we're good here. We're excited to be involved and looking for new, bright ideas. That's what we're trying to do here, that we do something rapidly. So looking forward to the proposals in March in New York.
All right, very good. Definitely thank you, and thanks for all the folks that have joined us today to help answer your all's questions. You know, I can't encourage you enough. Please get your proposals in. We'll start accepting proposals starting tomorrow. Really encourage you to go out, check out the website, check out the instructions for how to get your proposals in. We're extremely excited to hear your pitches in person on March 6th, and as well to have that bigger event on March 7th. So, you know, we recognize that this is something new that the Air Force is doing. We want to work much more rapidly. We want to get new ideas into the hands of our users as rapidly as possible. So again, thank you for joining us today. We'll get this video posted for everybody to review. And again, can't wait to see your all proposals and then see you in person on March 6th and 7th. So thank you very much. Have a very good week. Take care.